All right, let's talk about our topic of the week. This week's topic is a topic that comes from a question that I get quite frequently from clients, and that is, can I or should I go ahead and order my own medical records for or in preparation of my case? Either before I hire an attorney or after I hire an attorney, would it save money for me to go ahead and just order my own medical records? And what I always tell people is this: one of the duties, one of the obligations of your lawyer is to make sure that all of the documentation, all of the proper documentation is gathered together in the form of your medical records in part. That's not all of the documentation of your case, but that is a critical key to your case. And if it isn't done in the proper fashion, then your case will suffer. What I mean by proper fashion is you have to understand that there are, in most medical records files, three different provisions or parts that we look to get. Number one is the administrative part or billing part of your medical records, and those have to be in a certain form for most insurance companies to accept and recognize the billing as a valid billing that is appropriate for analyzing the value as part of the personal injury or workers' compensation claim or case. The second part of the file is the S.O.A.P note, or the note that the doctor writes that outlines what happened at the medical appointment. And in many of the medical records that I see, those S.O.A.P notes are incomplete, or those S.O.A.P notes only date back to a certain date. And so your lawyer will be looking at those notes to make sure that they are complete, both in content, and they are complete from the date that they are needed to be complete. You don't want to get a set of medical records and submit them to the insurance company if they're only a partial set that don't tell the whole story with respect to your personal injury or your workers' compensation claim. The third part of your medical records file that you need to understand, and that we will try to almost always get, is the other records file, excuse me. Most doctors have a section of their medical records that includes the physical therapy notes, that includes medical records that they have reviewed from other doctors, and includes x-rays, studies, or MRIs, or CT scans, or any of the other diagnostic study results. If you don't get those medical records together with the doctor's original S.O.A.P notes and the administrative notes, then you don't have a complete set of medical records, and your submission to the insurance company could be a very impartial result. That is to say, the insurance company is going to look at that set of medical records and either deny the claim because it's incomplete, or they will make an offer to settle your claim for far less than what the claim is worth, based upon what documentation that you have submitted. One of the other things that I was getting ready to say, let the cat out of the bag here, is that an important section of the medical records we look for is the correspondence section. And that's a section that is commonly not even produced to our office. We have to ask over and over again for that additional part of the record. And the correspondence section includes any notes or letters that were submitted by outside sources like insurance companies, like other lawyers, like the individual themselves. We want to see all the correspondence to see just exactly what is going on, who has done what in your case, and in many cases doctors don't consider that part of the record file when in fact it really is. Ordering all of your records is also another important thing to understand. Most insurance companies will want to see 5 to 10 years of medical records prior to the date of the accident. If there's any question or could be any question as to whether or not your condition pre-existed this automobile accident. In most soft tissue injury cases, there's a question as to whether or not the soft tissue, since it's not visible, the soft tissue damage is not visible from an X-ray or MRI study, whether or not it's related to the accident. If you get all of your medical records that predate the date of the accident and the accident medical records, you should be able to and will be able to put together a complete calendar of events showing how this injury is related to the accident and isn't pre-existing. So when you get into a situation, I strongly urge that you don't try to save money, don't try to do it yourself. Make sure you get a good lawyer to help you in getting a complete set of your medical records.